Is it possible you could actually get more real estate deals, more money raised by having a YouTube channel? That's what we're going to ask Kyle about today. Hello, my fellow Ripplers. This is Chris Miles, your cash flow expert and anti-financial advisor. This show is for you if you want to become work optional, where you want to work because you want to, not because you have to, because you have enough passive income coming in to be able to get your money working harder for you today. But you're also here because you're not just here to get rich. You want to live a rich life because as you're blessed financially, you now have a greater capacity to bless the lives of those around you, creating that ripple effect. And that's what I'm here to do with you guys today, that we've been doing now for over 11 years. And we're almost to the 1,000 episode mark. Our guest is going to be so bummed that he wasn't there, but that's okay. It's all good. But we're getting close. And again, we appreciate you guys, the shout outs, the binging, the sharing, and everything you guys have been doing. This ripple effect is only happening because of you. Hey, if you could in any way, shape, or form, if there's any way we can serve you, feel free to reach out to us at moneyripples.com. You can contact us there or even book a call if you want to be able to figure out how you can become work optional or even create a max ROI infinite banking policy. You can do that right there at moneyripples.com. All right, guys, so I'm bringing back Kyle Stanley. Now, if you haven't been following us that long, right? If you haven't been following us that long, we've had Kyle on several times before. Primarily, we've talked a lot about short-term rentals, midterm rentals, things like that. However, Kyle is coming for a different angle this time around. And this is something that can actually benefit not just those of you that are active real estate investors, but even if you're a passive real estate investor, you're going to want to listen up because the question is, obviously a lot of you are watching literally YouTube channel right now. Can you actually use YouTube to help you increase and grow your wealth faster? That's what we're going to talk about with Kyle today. So Kyle, welcome back.
That's a great way of putting it. Thank you so much, Chris. Excited to talk about this. It's become a big passion of mine after having a few YouTube channels that have really opened up some opportunities for me.
Yeah, and you even got Instagram. You got Real Kyle Stanley or at Real Kyle Stanley. You've got as well, right?
Yep. You can follow me there as well. You can go to my website, realkylestanley.com, whatever you want to. But definitely the YouTube channel is the best place to get what I'm going to be talking about today.
That's awesome. Well, tell us more, for those that don't know your backstory, tell us a little bit about you and how you even got into real estate investing in the first place.
Just to sum it up, so it's not too boring of a story, but I was a struggling entrepreneur for 9, 10 years from the age of 22 to 31, tried everything. I was actually a sports anchor right out of college. Found out very quickly I didn't like taking orders from other people. So I became an entrepreneur, started my own business. Failed miserably, didn't have mentors, didn't invest in myself, just thought, oh, if you have a good idea, you can have a good business. And that's kind of like being like, oh, I'm a good bartender, so I can run a bar. It's not really the way it works. So in 2019, January 6, 2019, I made the biggest decision of my life. I remember the day because it was 11 days before my dad passed away, but it was also the day that I said, it's time to stop doing this on my own. It's time to start getting help. And the help that I needed was how to get into real estate. And so I went to a FortuneBuilders seminar, dropped $30,000, got into real estate, did my first deal 6 weeks later. And from there, the growth was massive. Did $140,000 year one of real estate. The best I'd ever done in any other venture in my entire life was $75,000 in a year. So I doubled my income year one in real estate, nearly doubled that in year two. And then just because I grew my brand through not just social media, but YouTube as well, the opportunity to become a real estate coach just kind of presented itself. It was very organic. And from there, was able to build a $500,000 per year real estate education company in the Airbnb space. And sold that actually in 2023, sold my management company for Airbnb in 2023. I continue to be a real estate professional and still invest in real estate today. But my passion has really transferred over to how to help other people build their brands through YouTube.
It's fascinating. I just had a lunch with a new friend the other day that I got to get to know. It was in the real estate space. And I'm talking to him and realizing that, wait a minute, I think he knows you. I'm like, I even said, like, hey, do you know Kyle Stanley? He's like, that's who I bought the business from.
Oh, you met Lame.
I did. And I was like, oh, wait, Lame. I'm like, I'm getting your emails. Like, I couldn't figure out how I got on your email list. Now I know.
Oh my gosh.
Like, you just passed it right on from Kyle.
How funny. Great
Yep.
guy. Great guy.
Small world, huh?
Yeah. Very, very small world.
Now, definitely, I think it's interesting. I mean, from sports, to all said to this. I mean, by the way, what was your favorite sport?
Baseball. I'm a huge Cubs fan. If you can see, if you're watching on YouTube, I got Cubs stuff all behind me on my bookshelf here.
See, my CMO is going to go nuts over that since she's 2 hours away from Chicago and loves the Cubs. They
Nice.
love going to their games.
Nice.
So, well,
That's
that's
awesome.
great. Well, tell us. I mean, so you evolved out of obviously out of the space, and now it sounds like you're now coaching these real estate professionals, real estate investors. What are you seeing like is like that big need right now? Like, what's the problem that's happening with a lot of real estate investors today?
Well, I think there's a big problem with marketing, right? Like the typical marketing, when you think about this, most people are spending tons of hours on marketing because they're cold calling. They're spending tons of time with real estate agents trying to find the right property. They're spending tons of money, right, on mailers and text campaigns. And so I never had to do that really myself, Chris. I did it in the
Hmm.
beginning, but I reflected back on my journey. I told you I sold the businesses in 2023, and I basically took 2 years off because I just wanted to be a dad. Our newborn, our baby girl was born at that time, and
Hmm.
where I kind of had my axe sharpening moment for the last 2 years of just like, what do I really love, and what do I think about when I reflect back on my journey of going from basically a zero net worth to over a $3 million net worth in a very short amount of time. And it was that I never had to struggle to find money, and I never had to struggle to find deals. They were always coming to me. And I attribute most of that to the fact that I made myself very magnetic and did that through my YouTube channel. There was one moment in 2019. I just got into real estate, flipped a couple properties, and then I got into Airbnb. And I was getting these Airbnbs without owning the houses. A lot of people probably already know about these strategies, but
Hmm.
I was cash flowing five, six, $7,000 on three properties in Airbnb at the time. And I was going to these real estate meetups, and these guys were like, oh, I'm cash flowing $1,000 on five properties. I'm cash flowing $10,000 on 100 properties. I'm like, I'm like, I got three properties and I'm doing way better. And it was at that moment, I'm getting to a point here, which at the same meetup where I was kind of like holding this thing like the golden goose egg and not telling anyone about it. At that same
Hmm.
meetup, one of the most successful real estate investors in California stood up and he said, if you're not telling everyone what you're doing, if you're not sharing abundantly, then you're coming from a place of scarcity. And that means that your business is not going to grow. If you give without expecting anything in return, if you give information, if you give your time, if you give, then it will come back to you 10x. And it was
Hmm.
like he was staring me in the face, and I just felt very convicted that moment of like, I need to tell people what I'm doing. I need to
Yeah.
tell people about Airbnb. And so I went on my podcasts, I went to lunches, I went to meetups, and I just started saying, I don't know what's going to happen, but I'm just going to share the roadmap. I'm going to share everything. And what came of that? I didn't have a management company at the time.
Hmm.
That created out of basically thin air a need for a management company. And that management company grew to be basically cash flowing me over $300,000 a year at 70 properties.
Yeah.
That wouldn't have happened if I didn't share. And I also very organically became a coach. Didn't expect that to happen either.
Hmm.
But when you share, people just start asking, well, how are you doing that? Like, show me the how. You told me the what and the why, but tell me the how. And I
Hmm.
was like, well, if I'm going to tell you the how, I got to charge you for that because that's going to take a lot of my time.
Yeah.
And so that created another mid six figure business. So I basically created out of thin air just by having this abundance mindset, sharing at meetups, sharing on YouTube, sharing on my podcast, two six figure, mid six figure businesses that would not have been there. Had I not
Hmm.
adopted that mindset, had I not shared this on YouTube, I probably would have been very comfortable making $100 to $200,000 a year and keeping that golden goose egg secret to myself.
Yeah.
So, to answer your question, the problem is that most people are trying to do it on their own. They're not sharing abundantly, and that's leaving a lot of opportunities on the table.
Absolutely. Well, that abundance mindset, we talk about that a lot on the show. It's so important,
So
and
important.
because it does require faith, doesn't it? I mean, to give something without always necessarily always getting in back something in return, that's something that a lot of people don't have faith in that very principle there, that dollars follow value.
I just had a conversation with one of my clients the other day, and he's a realtor that's making $300,000 per year in a small market, a 30,000 person town. Pretty
Mhm.
impressive. Um, and he said, obviously, I don't want to start sharing my secrets with the people in my town because that's going to create competition.
Right.
And I said, well, that's what a scarcity mindset says, and that's what intuition says, right? If we've got something good, we don't want to share it. But I told him, just go into this thinking, I'm going to share with everyone, even if it creates more competition. You'll be surprised at how much more opportunity outweighs that competition.
That's right. Well, especially because you create that reciprocity a lot of
Yeah.
times too, right? Because even if you create the quote unquote competition, the truth is you're helping them out to some way, which obviously they want to find a way to pay it forward. Just naturally as people, we don't like to feel we're indebted to somebody else.
Yeah.
And so we're gonna want to pay it forward, right? I think there's always exceptions to the rule, but that's typically how human nature works. And I've noticed too is that, and this actually came up recently in an Alex Hormozy interview, not his book launch, but an actual interview he did. It was fascinating to hear where he just said, listen, like people copy, they will always be second place.
Yep.
They will always, because you're the one that actually is creating it. You can always tell somebody copy something versus somebody who's had the experience. They had to go through the lows and the hard times to
Yep.
create that system. And so they're always going to be ahead of the people that try to copy that system, And so that's how you know somebody's a lead, an industry leader is that they're not looking at everybody else and what they're doing. They're trying to figure out how to do best what they do.
Yeah. That's a great way of putting it for sure.
Now, let's talk about this because like obviously like when you talk about using YouTube or podcasts or whatever it might be, right? I mean, obviously you're talking about this to raise capital, which I know that's a big thing for a lot of real estate investors. They'll ask me a lot of times, like, how do I raise money? Almost kind of ask me, well, your people want to invest with me, or that kind of thing. How can somebody use YouTube to be able to really do this?
So what I want you to think about, right, is and I kind of should have come to the table with an example. I'm
Mhm.
trying to think of something off the riff here, but I mean, okay, you just said Alex Hormozy. Alex Hormozy has a huge following, right?
Yeah.
If Alex Hormozy comes out tomorrow, actually, you've seen a lot. Here's a good example. Dwayne Johnson, The Rock,
Mm.
comes out with a tequila line. It immediately is making millions, maybe even billions of dollars.
Mhm.
If I came out with a tequila line tomorrow, Chris, no one's going to buy it.
Right.
But it might be the best tequila out there. It might be 10 times better than The Rock's.
Mhm.
Why is that? Well, The Rock is focused on building an audience. So literally anything that he releases to that audience, he's built trust in that audience, and
Mhm.
that audience is going to believe in whatever he puts out there. Heck, he could, you know, put out, this is ice that never melts and people would all buy it, right? Like the most boring thing ever. Um, and that's why this works. And I just want to like, because there's going to be people listening right now that are like, well, Kyle, you are charismatic and you're well spoken, so it would make sense that you have a YouTube channel. Chris, you've been doing this for 11 years. You're really good at this. Maybe I'm in IT and I don't like being in front of the computer. I like being behind a desk. I don't like the attention. That's
Yeah.
okay because most people think you got to be a guru, you got to be an expert. People think you got to be really polished on camera. Most people think that like only coaches have YouTube channels. And a
Mm.
lot of people think like, okay, but I also don't have time to go film and edit videos. And I just want to kind of smash all of those preconceptions because I just dare you to go and Google right now, like how to get into real estate and
Mhm.
look for all of the videos. I'm not just looking for the ones that are going viral. Go look at the ones that got 200 views.
Mhm.
200 views. Think about that for a second. If you had 200 people watching one of your videos on how to get into real estate, and I'll talk to you about the technique here in a second, but if you just had 200 people, you're telling me there's not one person out of that 200 views that would potentially look at you as like, hey, this person is someone that I would want to partner with. And that's
Right.
the power of YouTube is that you, without having to get a TV contract, can just start a YouTube channel for free tomorrow, start talking, start sharing, and people immediately, because it's long form video, just start building trust with you. There's something called the 7-11 rule in the marketing world. And that is that people need 7 hours of experience with you of at least 11 different touches. Instagram is fun. It's cute. It's can get results. But think about that for a second, Chris. How many hours am I going to have to watch you on Instagram? How many videos am I going to have to watch of you on Instagram to actually get 11 hours, or sorry, 7 hours worth of content? Hundreds of
Hundreds.
videos.
Mhm.
How about if I am interested in raising money? How many times am I going to have to sit down with you to have 7 hours of conversations and still not sure if you're going to actually invest with me?
Mhm.
How many
That's a whole
hours?
day.
Yeah. How many hours am I going to have to sit down with a realtor or a wholesaler or someone like that who to prove to them that I'm a real buyer?
Mhm.
And that's why I didn't have issues with deals coming my way, was because I was just always giving people a chance while I was asleep to have those 7 hours of 11 different touches. But the preconception that I want to go back to is, people think, oh, I got to be the expert.
If you've been following this podcast, you're probably looking for great ways to create passive income right now, right? Well, we got you covered here with Central Lending. Central Lending specializes in alternative investments that actually are designed to create steady returns and long-term financial security for you and your family. Now, they prioritize transparency. They love, building those strong relationships, giving you that confidence and peace of mind, knowing that you have your money working harder for you, so you don't have to work so hard for that money. You want to learn more how to do that? Go to centrallending.com and check out what they've got today to create your passive income and wealth creation right now.
There's three different types of channels. Number one is, yes, the expert or the guru. You're probably not going to be that person in the beginning. So don't try to be that person. Don't fake it. Number two is where I started. It was the reporter. I got people like you, Chris. You were one of my first interviewees on my podcast. I got people like you who had followings, who had trust with everyone else. And I said, hey, can you come on my podcast or my YouTube channel, and can you just talk to me about how to do direct banking or direct? Wow, why did I just lose
Infinite banking.
the infinite banking? Wow,
Yeah.
direct banking. What am I talking about? Infinite banking with my audience.
Mhm.
And that built trust with my audience because they said, okay, this guy knows what he's talking about. And Kyle is interviewing him. So what does everyone start to associate Kyle with? Associates Kyle with the experts. And eventually, when Kyle talks to enough experts and I watch enough of his videos, I start to view him as the expert. And by the way, I do become the expert because I've just filled my mind with so much knowledge and so much information from people like you, Chris, that it sped up the process. And that was the whole reason why I wanted to start a YouTube channel and a podcast in the beginning, was I just wanted to talk to experts and give them value so I didn't have to quote unquote pick their brain, because no one likes being asked that question, right?
Yeah.
And then the third type of channel, if you still don't like that, if you don't like being in front of the camera, don't think you're an expert, if you don't think that you're good at interviewing people or you're intimidated by that, documentary. If
Mm.
you have, no matter where you're at in your journey, if you've done your first deal, if you've done 10 deals, if you've only done one deal, you should go into those deals and you should just take your phone. You should just take selfies, videos of just, hey, I just got this deal. Or, hey, I'm with my realtor today and we're looking at this deal. It's $500,000. Look at this. It's got 4 bedrooms. I'd probably upgrade the kitchen. And you're just literally going to walk around and be honest with people and say, I don't know what I'm doing. In fact, I've never flipped a house before, but I'm working on it. And you just let people follow you in your journey. And that's going to take some time for people to build trust, because they want to see you do a deal and they want to see you do another deal and they want to see that. But by doing that, it takes the pressure off of having to be polished,
Mhm.
having to be the expert, having to be really good at interviews, and just be yourself. And that's, in a world of AI today, you can tell right away when something is scripted. You can tell when something's fake. People can see right through you when you're not genuine. And if you're going to go on and you're going to do a documentary style video and you're just yourself, the people that you're supposed to attract will stick with you as long as you're consistent in posting. And that's the power of YouTube, is when you do that and you build an audience and then you release that tequila, then people are buying.
That's right. And I love what you brought up there because, I mentioned for passive investors too, which we have a large audience of passive investors or people that want to become passive investors, following this right now. Well, how can you use a YouTube channel or a podcast to do that? Hello, like if you're trying to build up your network, like I did over the last couple of decades, of investments and operators and people that I trust with my money, you can do the same thing. You can literally bring different people on as an expert, almost like you're interviewing them. Literally, I mean, you're interviewing for the podcast, yes, but you're interviewing them to see what I want to put my money with them. So even for, I've seen so many people that literally they just started out doing this as a way to just create more contacts and to learn more things and consume. Even someone want to become an active investor, start bringing on people on your podcast that are active investors and asking them their experience. And you're literally combining all those experiences and those that almost that breadth of knowledge you're
Yep.
bringing right to your doorstep. And often, well, for the most part, you're not paying a dime for it, right?
Well, I'm a big believer in this, Chris. I believe that this model that I'm sharing with you, if you did this and you took it seriously and you said, I have a goal of meeting this person in the next 365 days, you
Hmm.
could use your channel to do that,
Oh
right?
yeah.
I mean, if I said today I want to meet, I don't know, LeBron James,
Hmm.
I believe that I could use my YouTube channel in the next 365 days to eventually meet LeBron James
Yeah.
because you're giving value, you're building an audience, and someone is bound to know him and like you. And for that reason, they're going to be willing to give an introduction. So
Right.
that's the power of this, man, is like, not to mention it's free. It's not free on your time, but it is free. And it can create these opportunities, just like I told you. When people start to see you as the expert, well, that creates an opportunity for a service-based business. That creates an opportunity for
Yeah.
coaching. That creates an opportunity for consultations, consulting business. It creates an opportunity to raise money. You could be the broker of money, right?
Mhm.
You could literally say, "Hey, I've got the audience that's willing to invest the money, and you've got the deals. Let me be the broker to bring those people in." Like, there's so many opportunities that come about, and this is why I'm such a believer that this is what exploded my net worth in basically a 3 year period from zero to millions. Was just this abundance mindset along with a channel that I just focused on. I'm not trying to make a sale. I'm just trying to build an audience and see what happens.
Well, this can be overwhelming for a lot of people. What's a good resource that they can use to be able to learn how to do this better?
Well, just follow my YouTube channel is the first thing I would
Yeah.
say. I do talk a lot about my YouTube channel, how to coach and how to start a coaching business, but I also am talking a lot about YouTube, so you can filter out what fits you and what doesn't. Um, the second thing, a resource to take the next steps. I don't know if it's necessarily a resource as it is just a mindset of like, I mean, what's the worst that can happen? Let me just try it out, right?
Yeah.
And the biggest thing is I would just temper expectations because when you start a new YouTube channel, you'll Google it and there'll be tons of things that say like, "Oh, YouTube really likes new creators. They're going to push your videos." I've never found that to be the case. It's about sticking to it, and it's
Right.
about making sure that you're treating it like a business, whether it's part-time or full-time, but you treat it like a business and you are consistent. If I'm going to release a new video every Tuesday, I got to release a video every Tuesday. If
Right.
I say that I'm going to do a walkthrough of a property, I got to go to do the walkthrough of the property. And just staying, it's not a put some videos up and see money come in kind of thing. It's not going to work that way. I'm just going to be completely honest. But for the
Yeah.
few that really do see this and see the opportunity and say, you know what? I am willing to put in the time and I do want to build an audience and just see where it goes. I think just doing that, just following someone that knows where to take you, right? There's other
Yeah.
channels out there you could find it. And then just having the mindset of this is a long term, this isn't a short term thing. So that would be my two best recommendations.
Yeah. That's great advice. And I know if I could go back 11 years, I wish I had somebody like you, Kyle, that I could actually learn from and model after where I just did it. I just
Yeah.
made the leap, made all the mistakes and the slow organic growth all by myself. And I wish I knew what I knew now. I wish I knew back then because that would
Yeah.
be a very different channel even to this day.
Well, let me turn this around on you. I mean, like 11 years ago when you started this, what was the reason that you wanted to start the podcast? Did you think it was to get clients and have a coaching business, or what was at the core?
I thought it'd be fun,
Yeah. Okay.
honestly. I was actually on an interview with John Lee Dumas. I was on his show, and I remember thinking, man, that was so much fun being, even though I've been interviewed on other shows, that was just a big show. It was kind of fun to see that people did jump to my website, at least to go visit, right?
Yeah.
Not necessarily I got like a whole ton of clients. I did get some, but for me, it was just fun teaching. And I was like, you know what? I wish I could do that more. I was telling a friend that at lunch, and he said, well, why not start your podcast? Even though I
Yeah.
had done another one, I stopped it in 2012. He's like, start another one.
Yeah.
I was like, maybe I
I love
should. And
it.
that was a Friday afternoon. And by Tuesday, the next week, I launched my first episode. It was horrible. I literally called on my phone, to like, because it was a blog talk radio. And they're like, yeah, if you want to do it live, call in on your phone. And it was like the worst audio quality ever, no video. And it was just miserable for several episodes that way. But I mean, I got the bug out. I was able to teach and share the things I love to share.
And that's so key right there because if you don't watch, I tell people all this all the time. If you're not watching even 6 videos ago, call it 6 weeks ago,
Mhm.
and you're not disgusted with what you're seeing in those videos, then you're not being critical enough of yourself to get better. Like
Yeah.
you have to continue to watch your stuff get better, watch your stuff get better. And that's the whole point of doing a YouTube channel. It's not to be perfect right out of the gate. No one is.
Mhm.
But how many millions of dollars do you think you would have left on the table if you didn't start this YouTube channel and podcast?
Oh, geez. Several million. I mean, I can't even
Yeah.
count it, but a lot. Yeah.
But year one, year two, like, did you get anything? Was there much movement?
Yeah. I mean, I made into the six figures
Oh, that's
with just the
great.
podcast alone. Yeah.
You also started during a time when like it was just getting really popular and like there was not
Right.
a lot of competition. So you started a really good time. But that's also another question that I get from people is like, well, is there too many people out here trying to do what I'm doing? I mean, if you're a real estate professional and you have no interest in being a coach and you just want to raise money, I dare you to just like go and try to search for the number of people that are teaching real estate without having a coaching program attached on the back end,
Right.
right? And even if there is, if you're like, hey, I want to be a coach, is there too much saturation? I go back to the being genuine part. Like, there's plenty of people that I come across their videos and I'm like, next. Like,
Yeah.
there's so many bad actors, fake people, or just people that I don't resonate with, and that's okay. Like, I'm not gonna.
Yeah.
There's plenty of people out there that are like, "Oh, look at the plane that I bought. Look at the Lamborghini that I bought." If that's for you. That's cool. That's not what attracts me.
Mhm.
So there's always going to be someone out there that needs to hear your message in your voice, and not that other person that you're trying to compare yourself to.
Exactly. Well, Kyle, this has been awesome. If people want to find you, of course, I know you mentioned your YouTube channel.
Yeah.
Where else would it be? Instagram, or where would you prefer them
Yeah,
to
I
find
want to
you?
give everyone an opportunity. As I'm just starting this brand, it would be a huge thank you to subscribe to my YouTube channel. So I'll give you that link, Chris. But it's just if you just do YouTube at Real Kyle Stanley, you'll find it. It's just got like 100 subscribers right now. But I would love to offer up to your audience because love you, love what you're doing all the time. And if anyone wants to have a chat with me about YouTube, about this engine that could create multiple deals and multiple 6, 7, 8 figures of raising money, and how they can implement it in their businesses, let's have a call. Consultation.realkylestanley.com, consultation.realkylestanley.com, and I'd love to have a chat with you and see how I can help out.
Awesome, man. Yeah, we'll put that in the show notes for everybody to have. So in case they're driving, we don't want them to crash, and all that kind of
Please don't.
stuff.
Yeah.
Well, final question for you that we ask all of our guests, obviously being the Money Ripples podcast, we talk about that ripple effect we create in people's lives. What do you feel is your ripple effect, Kyle?
In regards to money or in regards to life in general?
It could be anything in general. Yeah. I mean, just what do you feel like you're here on this planet to do?
I mean, like I told you, I took basically 2 years off, and at the end of the 2 years, I was just like, something is missing from my life. Even though I'm a dad, even though I have an amazing family, an amazing, really dream life, I felt like there was something missing that I had from a couple of years before, and that was just helping people. And so I think that's like my mom was a teacher and my dad was an entrepreneur. So I think I've kind of combined both of those together to want to help other people achieve what they want to achieve in their businesses. And this is kind of the path that I've been led down, is showing people how to be able to blow up their brand and make more money and impact more people. I think if I can teach someone to impact hundreds or thousands of lives, then that's only one person I had to make a difference in order to impact 1,000 lives, which is pretty cool.
That's awesome, man. Yeah, that's leverage right there, isn't it?
Yeah.
For sure. Well, man, again, appreciate your time being on here today. Everybody, be sure to follow Kyle with his new YouTube channel he's just launching to be able to teach this very thing, as well as feel free to follow him on Instagram as well. So again, we'll put that all in the show notes. But guys, remember, you can listen and watch these podcasts all day long, but if you're not doing something about it, your life will remain the same. And is that what you really want? If you're like most of us, we want something more, right? And so if you want something more, it's got to take action. So guys, make sure you go and make it a wonderful and prosperous week. We'll see you later.